All right. Well, let's take a quick look. So this was Team Bros deck. So let's take a look over at. We haven't had to look too much at this LocoPojo deck, but we also saw that Clutch Swirl the Sands too. I mean, I think we haven't talked too much about the market tonight, but I think we've seen some really clutch pulls from the market as well. We saw the Swirl the Sands there to take care of the curse, to allow them to play the Xenon Temple. We've seen Malediction do a lot of work, just having access to that in the market, really shoring up the early threats there. Just a clutch card for this deck to be able to survive those early turns, play out the Malediction, to give you some time to play out your other cards. And then, of course, the edicts, and we saw in the Diesel's office quite a bit as well, to take care of one pesky unit, and then giving your team lifesteal. That's something about Diesel's office. You know, you look at Diesel's office, and I feel like you immediately just think of the cut ties, right? It's a seven power way to kill a threat and accrue advantage. But being able to give your whole team lifesteal just allows you to take a game that was close, kill a unit, and then make it just end the race, because there's no way they're going to race you after you give your team lifesteal. Very powerful pull from the market as well.
Yeah, especially in a color that's able to deploy the shadow emblems where you have a 2/2 deadly unit. So now not only are you going to take their unit off the board and potentially block an entire attack, but then you're also coming up on life on that exchange.
Alrighty. So we will get our players down as soon as they're ready. I will tell them that they're good to go. All right, so our players are getting set for the finals now. So that's LocoPojo's Xenon deck, and playing up against PapaCapricorn's deck, which we have seen a few times tonight. This is the kind of mid-rangey take on the Stone Scar aggro deck. So this one has the Teething Whelps, the Verets, the Smugglers, the Kozin, and then has kind of the top end of the 4 Incarnus, 4 Eclipse Dragon, and 4 Carvet. And then the one that I'll admit I overlooked at first was the 4 Caleb's Persuader. Plays really well, synergizes really well with pretty much everything else in this deck. Anytime you can play that on one of these units, it's just super powerful.
Yeah, and not only does it draw you a sigil, which is exactly what these decks, like every deck wants to do, the trigger, the 2 damage on attack trigger is really what kind of sets this card over the top, where it's able to trigger mastery early, it's able to get in additional damage. It just does so much. And the +3/+3 is just fantastic. It's a good stat line, especially when Conflagrate and Malediction's in the format.
And then the removal suite here in this deck, as we saw, the 4 Cremate and the 4 Voprex's Choice. So actually not quite as much removal as I feel like it plays with. Now you can see some of the removal is in the market, right? So you've got the removal in the form of the 2 Edicts, the Malediction, and the Diesel's office in the market. So that's really where the rest of the removal is shored up, because the 4 Cremate and 4 Voprex's Choice, you know, in this size deck, in a 75 card deck here, you might not even see all these removal spells, but being able to go to the market to grab the Edict or grab the Malediction is going to help there. And then I think the lifesteal on things like the Carvet as well just allow you to, if you're able to land your Carvet against an aggressive deck trying to just burn you out, or kind of, you know, do a final attack to get you dead, being able to get that lifesteal is just really crucial there as well. So I really like the look of this deck as well. It has game against the aggro decks, and then it's really, really powerful in the card advantage from the Kozin and the Incarnus. And then it's got a good removal set as well. It seems like a really nice deck that's really polished. Something we mentioned at the beginning was how these decks should see a little bit more polish than we saw 2 weeks ago, and I think this deck is a good example. This deck looks very, very polished in my opinion.
Yeah, it's just absolutely great. Like, no one can say that it isn't a brewer's paradise here in Expedition right now.
Alrighty, well, here we go. We are about to get started. Welcome to the finals of the Tuesday Night Eternal Expedition Challenge. This is going to be the best of 5. We have LocoPojo on the Xenon ramp deck versus PapaCapricorn on the mid-range aggro Stone Scar deck. We're viewing LocoPojo's hand here. All right, give me 1 second. Refresh the spectating.
All right, LocoPojo plays a Scorpion, passes the turn. PapaCapricorn plays their seat and passes it back to Pojo, who follows it up by playing a Trailmaker. fixing their influence, and now they are good to go. Gets in for one with the Scorpion, sends it back to Papa Capricorn.
All right, Pojo.
Pop-
Well, a good start, a good early start that is very good against an aggressive deck here, but actually doesn't have anything followed up at this point. Pojo doesn't really have any action other than these early blockers, some decimate, Avara's favor, but none of the really heavy hitters that we've seen them play in the rest of their games. Capricorn, on the other hand, has a third power in the form of an emblem, has a Teething Whelp, a Cremate, an Eclipse Dragon, two Smugglers, and a Caleb's Persuader. So their hand's full of gas here. So I like the early start from Pojo here, but I'm a little worried that they're running out of gas, whereas Papa Capricorn has a ton of things to work with in their hand.
Yeah, a little interesting. They decided to go to the market. They are using all their power, but okay, I see what they're going for now.
Grab
Okay,
the
taking the
Malediction.
malediction to
Okay.
hopefully take out the early game. Okay, smart. Having Crusader in hand, I think I might have potentially considered Teething Whelp there. So if you drew power, you can go Persuader, but I like the malediction play here.
Now, one thing we haven't seen in the markets for these decks is no power in the markets, I don't think, from any of the decks we've seen. And that would have been something that I think Papa Capricorn, looking at their influence and their power right now, being stuck on 3 with only a single fire, would have loved to be able to go to the market there and grab a power, but do not have that option here. And
Yeah, it's
missing
one of
there,
the draw.
crucially missing there on the power, is not able to actually fire off the malediction that turn because they don't have the power for it.
Okay, I think I'm okay with the Jackknife here preemptively. The fact of the matter is that you want to try to capture power next turn, and if you draw a sigil, you're able to deploy your malediction or your Caleb's Persuader or even Cremate and not lose your Teething Whelp
Mm-hmm.
or get stuck on power. So I like that play. It does open up to a 2-for-1, but in the long run, it might pay off being able to deploy multiple 4-drops. And if they can play this, oh man, depleted power off the top. If not, that would have worked out so great. I think they still got a swing here, and sure enough, they do.
Yep.
Dealing 4. This is going to trigger the second level of mastery, making the Teething Whelp a 7/7 flyer. And next turn, they're going to be able to wipe the board. Let's see what Pojo plays here.
Oh, yeah, this is tough. Capricorn really wanted to be able to fire off that malediction last turn, but going to be able to do it this next turn. Pojo drawing Marison for the turn. 1 power away, going to fire off the Vara's favor, going to put them to 7 if they top deck a power. Or they'll need 2 turns to do it, but they can deploy this Marison in 2 turns. Capricorn, I assume, is going to fire off the malediction here and get rid of these pesky units. At 10 life already.
I think this might play out in Papa Capricorn's favor because they have the Smuggler to get rid of the Carvet that was silenced, and they have the Cremate to answer the Marison here. So as long as there's no answer to the Teething Whelp, they might be able to pull this off because, I mean, it's a 2-turn clock.
Yep.
Potentially even shorter than that should they decide to go with the Persuader.
Here's going to be the 8th power to drop Marison next turn. They're going to play the Tullius favored. Capricorn's not worried about that, of course, but going to be able to deploy the Marison next turn. But this is going to be a lot of damage here by Capricorn, being able to put the favor on that hit for 2 and then for 10. And now the Marison doesn't even do anything. Going to go to the market.
Swirling Sands, Swirl the Sands.
That's a good pull. Nice played by Pojo there to go to the market to get Swirl the Sands to take care of the Teething Whelp.
Yep.
And now what does Capricorn have to deal 2? They have the silenced 4/5. That's not going to do a lot here. Now, Pojo had to toss away their 8th power to go to the market, so they actually can't deploy Marison yet.
I think, I like this going to get Eclipse Dragon. Oh, they go for Dizzo's Office. Interesting here. Thinking that they're going to go ahead and win. I think I would have just liked the charge unit.
Wow, passing up on Eclipse Dragon here.
Interested to see what kind of read Papa Capricorn has on LocoPojo. I feel like Pojo is just kind of trying to stay alive, so I wouldn't give too much credit to their hand, especially when you have an auto win. Not an auto win, obviously they could have removal or Wasp. I guess they're playing around Wasp, but even then, Eclipse Dragon has quick draw. So Yeah, interesting to see. But I mean, I could see it. This plays better to the long game.
Also interesting that Pojo did not play out Marison that last turn. Bluffing Wasp, maybe? I'm not sure.
I mean, they're probably just. Oh, all right. Well, that's there you have it.
Hmm.
They knew they were going to top deck. So
Well, there you go. Pulled the
what what am I missing here? They're tapped out. So is
interesting.
Papa? Are they just
No,
playing with them?
um, no, probably just missaw it. Didn't realize that they had lethal there. But now gonna gain some life here, but that's still probably not gonna be enough. They'll go up to 5. Well, I guess they do buy a turn. They'll go up to 5, go to 1 against the Eclipse Dragon.
Do I mean they still have to deploy a unit though?
Yeah, and they've got the Talir's favorite in hand to chump block the 6/5.
Got you, got you.
Although, how much power does? Oh no, Capricorn can't play both. Can't cremate and
Oh, yeah.
dragon.
Let's see what scheme's gonna get at them.
Hypo style. Yes, this is an expedition tournament. There's the Eclipse Dragon.
Yep.
Wasp going to take out the 6/5. Put Pojo to 1.
I think I would go ahead and decimate and deploy. Might as well here.
Yeah, I think so as well. And then you've got the Eclipse Dragon next turn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're just really good shape. Plus you have the cremate. Yeah.
Yep.
So sweet. Playing very well, cleaning up things, and just kind of both opponents just kind of trading off the max value there. It was a lot of back and forth there. I don't think anyone really had it like in hand at all at that point.
Yeah, that was pretty good. That was a very back and forth match. Well played by Capricorn to take that game 1. Remember, this is best of 5 because this is the finals. But well played there by Capricorn. Both that was back and forth there. This matchup was still going to be a little play draw dependent. I don't think quite as much as the semifinal with Matioker, but there is a little bit of play draw here. Yeah, that one. I think the problem there, if I was on Pojo's side, was you did have that early game. You had some of the the deadly units early, but really didn't have anything to follow that up with until later in the game, and so didn't really draw as much of the impactful cards as you wanted to in the part of the game where it was most important.
Yeah, well put. Well put indeed, friend.
All right, so it looks like Pojo kept with 2 power, a Talir's favored, 2 Amber Acolytes, a Vorlunk, and a Wasp. Similar to last hand, actually, they have a lot of setup cards. They have the Vorlunk, they have the Wasp, they have the power generators, but they don't have any. They don't have any hammer cards. They have nothing to really win the game here. But you can always draw into those if you can survive the early game and you can set up your power. You can draw those. There's a Xenon Temple.
Interesting no Vorlunk there for the Verret.
Sir Valamont, thank you. I appreciate the positive words. We try our best for sure. And yes, I do try to refer to everyone as they as much as I can be as inclusive as I possibly can. All right, Pojo there. Yep, trading off with the Verret. Good trade by Pojo. Get that Verret out of the way here. Capricorn has not deployed too much here. Now, Capricorn has 2 Eclipse Dragons in hands and a Caleb's Persuader, and actually drew the Teething Whelp there for turn. So going to play out the Teething Whelp here, and then it'll be interesting to see next turn whether they go for one of the Eclipse Dragons on 5 or whether they fire off their Persuader. Actually, they're going to Decimate here to play out the Ash Elemental, and then probably Persuader next turn.
Yeah, I mean, it gives them 2 solid threats here, especially they're not going to have power issues playing out the Chaos Persuader. So we see the Vorlon come down, take out the Teething Whelp. So that's why Capricorn went ahead and played it 2 units. Let's see, and they're still able, yeah, Persuader's a solid play here. Still able to get in, get an additional power, get in a ton of damage. No point jump blocking and overwhelm unit. So solid play heads up from Papa Capricorn, getting a little aggressive there, being patient with their Eclipse Dragons, probably trying to wear out all of Pojo's removal. See Xena Temple place Xena Initiation on the Scorpion, taking out the Ash Elemental. So yeah, that's definitely where the Eclipse Dragons paid off. So Eclipse Dragon, I would not be surprised to see it come down here to immediately deal with the Temple. Yep. And sure enough, that's what we see.
Good draw too for Papa here, drawing the Incarnus as well to restock the hand, add a little more value after this turn.
Yep, I would not be surprised. Well, wait, I would not be surprised should they go Incarnus followed up with Voprex Choice to get back well, probably not Teething Whelp. I guess maybe not. Oh yeah, well there we go. I would probably just slam Carve It here. Interesting that they go for double dragon. Don't get me wrong, the dragon has charge, but I feel like because of the charge, I would probably want to use all my power here and play Carve It. Oh yeah, because Carve It only gives you a cultist for every dragon with a different name. So even having double Eclipse Dragons, they're still only gonna get one additional cultist out of that.
All right, so what does Pojo go here for? They can't do the malediction against the 4/4, so they do go for a Diesel's Office. That'll take care of one of the dragons, and it'll give their team lifesteal, which will help keep them alive, but it doesn't take care of the other dragon, and that dragon's going to take care of the office this next turn. But Capricorn down to 7.
Yeah, no, I think you have to take off the office and then play Carve It here for the lifesteal.
Although you're leaving yourself dead to 1 removal spell here. Or 2, no, I guess with the cultist, I apologize. That does give you some more chump blockers.
Yeah, and that's the value of Incarnate or not Incarnate Carve It, essentially being compared to Azendel from the Reanimator in Throne, where you're able to get 2-3 units off of 1 card, and that's somewhat it's relevant, especially in an aggressive format with limited removal. Anytime you're able to tax your opponent's removals, you're in good shape.
Well, this is a great draw off of the Incarnus here. A touch of the Umbran gives a curse, steal the cursed unit, and give it lifesteal. So nice draw there off of the Incarnus for Pojo here.
Ooh, no fear from Papa Capricorn. Go ahead and swing with both dragons to get in there. I guess, yeah, you want to limit the clock, so that makes sense.
Carnosaur here. All right, they're not going to decimate. They're going to play the touch of the Umbran here. Ooh, and they're going to steal the... Is that just lethal?
6,
that is,
8.
Yeah.
Yep, there we go. I'm not gonna lie, I actually did that exact thing in a game myself, and it was back. I did it. I forgot what. I did it to the blue dragon. That's reckless.
Does this only put? Actually, this only does. No, this only does 10, right?
Oh yeah.
I think it's 1 short.
Let's see.
Because they had a chump blocker, so I think that's 1 short, and that's just going to be game on the other side. No, now Pojo's at 10.
I think you Incarnus here and see if you get what attachment you get.
Let's see. So you can go. You're going to gain. You're going to gain 5. And go to
what's in their void?
6, but
oh wait, they just get Eclipse Dragon. Oh no. Okay, they have 7 power. Okay, never mind. Or they have 6 power. Okay, I was gonna say you could Voprex Choice get Eclipse Dragon swing, but both the power in their hand is depleted this turn. Yeah. So close.
Oof.
Let's see what they high roll off the Incarnus. They're looking for a weapon or a spell, like even a Vara's Favor does it. I mean, they have 6 damage coming across unblockable. So as of right now,
yeah, they can't.
They're just dead.
They have the 6 unblockable. They can only gain 5.
Ooh. Oh, but slowly, sadly, it's too slow. Oh, what a shame. Enough. So close for Papa Capricorn.
Go to 1 and then go to 1 on the way back, but that's not going to be enough. And like you said, Pojo has the 2 unblockable. The 2 unblockable Incarnus is just going to deal 6.
Hostile Takeover would have done it, but sadly, just not enough power.
Oh, brutal ending for Capricorn there. Yeah. Well played by Pojo, but brutal ending for Capricorn there, being just short of that.
It was definitely great for the viewers, though. They were able to watch. It's definitely hard to say who was going to take it. Like, I'm sure our players aren't that excited about it, but at least for viewership, it was great fun.
All right, so that's going to put the finals to 1-1 right now. So each player is taking one. This is best of 5. So we got a little bit more Eternal here to play in this final round. We've seen some great matches tonight, some really aggressive decks, some really complicated board states. Haven't seen too many control decks. I think the deck that Tony G won with 2 weeks ago has not shown up tonight. I think people came prepared for having their aggro decks ready to take care of any control, and we've seen that these aggro and mid-range decks taken up here. Even this ramp deck that Pojo is playing has a lot of early interaction and some heavy hitters here in the mid game. Alrighty. These decks up on Eternal Warcry, they will be right after this event. Once the event ends, I'll be able to submit them all there, and you'll be able to see them on there. For now, if you look right below the stream, you should see a link to all the deck lists on here. And then they'll be posted to Eternal Warcry as soon as the event is over. Alrighty, going into game 3 here of the finals. All right, so Pojo, we look like we got a pretty nice hand. We've got 3 power, we've got a Wasp, a Smuggler, a Steward of Prophecy, which we haven't seen too much of tonight, and then the Marison in hand as well. Capricorn's looking at a hand of a Seek power, 4 other power, an Eclipse Dragon, and a Carve-It. My guess is they're going to toss that one back. But pretty good hand, and Pojo's got to be happy with what he's seeing with 3 power and early plays.
Yeah, PapaCapricorn's hand a little on the slow side, so we'll see.
Capricorn's actually going to keep it. Yeah, they're going to keep this hand. It's pretty slow.
They might be banking on potentially kind of changing up their strategy on Pojo and then essentially going to get Malediction should they get a Merchant.
Second Eclipse Dragon off the top. The other question here is, do you decimate off the emblem to get something on the board, or do you save it so you can get your Eclipse Dragons on time? With that draw, I think you probably save it at this point.
Yeah,
now that
I was going to tell you, yeah, Capricorn has demonstrated very aggressive decimation on the emblem, so I would have said yes, but yeah, now that they have a 2-drop, I think you're right. I think they're just going to make sure they hit their dragon, go dragon. And I mean, Pojo will be hard pressed to come back from that. He did last game, but that was also, a top deck hero type scenario. So
Pojo going to preemptively grab a Swirl of the Sands from the market here, recognizing that Capricorn is going to be fighting with dragons, grabbing the Swirl of the Sands to have that answer ready. But, they do have a Scorpion's Wasp and a Swirl of the Sands here, so they are prepared for the Dragon Onslaught. Pojo only on 3 power, though, with no other power in hand. And then a 4-drop, 7-drop. Now, of course, they draw the Acolyte here, which will help them get to 4. But they're still a little far behind here.
Never didn't have it.
Now, they do have answers, though, right? So they can silence one of the dragons, they can Swirl the Sands one of the dragons, and they can Wasp the other. So they actually have 3 answers in hands for 3 dragons.
Yeah, and that's really frustrating when being on PapaCapricorn's side, when you have like a really aggressive, great hand, you get your top end, it's working out, and your opponent just has the answers. But that being said, that's the problem with not having an early game, is that some of those removal spells might have been used earlier turns if PapaCapricorn presented the threats. But since he didn't, then LocoPojo was able to hold off those and have them for the dragons.
Yep. Can you use the Swirl of the Sands now to take care of the first Eclipse Dragon and attack for 2?
Ooh, well, there we go. A 4th big threat off the top for Capricorn. So let's see if that will stick or not.
Now, notably also, they didn't play the Steward first. So if they had played the Steward first, they could have silenced the other Eclipse Dragon and then Swirled the Sands the next turn. But since they did in the reverse order, the Steward cannot silence the Eclipse Dragon now, and the Wasp cannot block it. So they actually don't have another removal spell for the Eclipse Dragon on board as it stands.
So do you think Capricorn's going to deploy the Silence Dragon or the I guess probably still deploy the one that is Silence so you capitalize on it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, deploying the vanilla one doesn't really do anything on this board, so I would take it. You also have the Voprex's Choice to get it back, too, if you trade with the Wasp or eat it another way.
Yeah, this is looking very good for Capricorn here. Man, and those cultists just doing a really good job of gumming up the board and being able to pump up the dragons. I think there's probably an argument to use the Jack's Knife, not necessarily this turn, but maybe next turn.
Well, you put it on the
Oh,
Eclipse
okay.
Dragon. I mean, this makes it a 2-turn clock. I think that's a really smart play, actually.
Yeah.
Recognizing they probably have a Wasp, there's probably some way to deal with it, but putting it on the Eclipse Dragon means that it's a 2-turn clock for Pojo to deal with, unless they want to chump, but that's not really, you can't really chump the 6/6 when there's a 4/5 also. So they're going to trade
Yeah,
in the
no,
4/5 and go to 6, and now it's lethal on board if Pojo doesn't find an answer.
yeah, very good play with Capricorn there. Very good play. And then there's still not only interesting that they didn't Voprex choice the Carvex, but I guess or Carvet, but I guess they probably want to leave the option to get back the Clips Dragon.
Well, now they do have, okay, so they do have the Smuggler. I thought they did. Do they not? Can they not get Edict off of Smuggler? I think Pojo.
Is Edict two cost?
No, it's 1. Okay. Maybe I missed something there. I thought they could have grabbed Edict from the board to take care of the dragon, but.
I mean, there obviously we have perfect information, so there's a
I'm
chance that
sorry.
they
No,
just
it's
missed it.
no, it's not. The dragon's a fire. Edict can't touch it. My
Okay.
apologies. Yep. Nope. It's the Shadow Edict is anti-combrate colors, so it actually wouldn't have hit the dragon.
Oh yeah, it had to be the time edict that gets fire.
Yep.
Correct.
Yeah. The edict, the Shadow Edict is an enemy unit of your choice can't block this turn, and if it's time or justice, kill it. So it actually does not affect the dragon, unfortunately. All right. So 2 games there for PapaCapricorn. So PapaCapricorn can win it, can win the whole tournament if they win this one. So it is best of 5, and PapaCapricorn is now up 2-1 over LocoPojo. This is going into game 4 here. Capricorn looking at a hand of 3 power, 2 jack. Oh, they're going to toss that one back. So now PapaCapricorn is looking at a hand of, well, they went down to 6. So PapaCapricorn went down to a hand of 6 with 2 power, 2 seek power, a Varret, and a Smuggler. Not the best hand, not something that Capricorn wants to see here, but they're going to try their best with it. Pojo with 5 power in hand, an Incarnus, a Vorlunk, and an Acolyte. So a little bit light on action, but they do have that Incarnus, and Incarnus can go a long way. But they don't have triple, well, I guess they have the triple shadow off of the Acolyte. So they can get the triple shadow from the Acolyte, slam Incarnus on 4, and they do draw the Carnosaur on 7. So Pojo looking like a really strong hand here if they can interact with what Capricorn's trying to do.
There is a world though where Capricorn can still run away with the game should they be able to keep Varret, and then every time Pojo decides to deploy a threat, because they do have Voprex choice as well as Cremate to deal with 2 things. So if Pojo tries to play a fair game and plays only 1 unit a turn, Capricorn will have the answers to them.
All right, as expected, the Vorline's going to take care of the Varret here. Now, because of the Vorline taking care of the Varret, though, Pojo cannot actually deploy the Incarnus this turn because they don't have the triple shadow. They needed to play Acolyte to get that. So PapaCapricorn did actually keep them off a turn or 2 from playing this Incarnus. Now Incarnus is still good in the late game too, though.
Steward of Prophecy probably going to silence. I don't think it's in. Well, shoot, there. It's a tough choice. I could see the Smuggler or the Incarnus here for the silence effect.
Yeah,
yep, deciding to go with the Incarnus.
Take the Incarnus, trying to win on the card advantage. Okay, they're going to make him sacrifice the Steward here, which is fine. I don't think Pojo's too worried about getting the Steward killed there. Yep. They weren't. That wasn't their win condition for this game anyway.
No, like I said, I think it's just incremental value. Understanding that there's listeners are a thing, as well as Carvet and Shenra are all cards that you really want to silence anyways. So
Capricorn going to decimate there. Go ahead and get a 2/2 deadly. Pojo going to get their Shadow Sigil here. They're going to be able to play that Incarnus next turn and really push this game into the late game where they have the advantage here. Capricorn drawing a power for turn. Now they have their vanilla Incarnus, which is not spectacular, just a 3/3 here, and they have their Smuggler. Now in their market, They have the Edict. They have the Fire Edict and the Shadow Edict. They have the Falchion, which is not going to do anything here. They have a Malediction, and they have a Diesel's Office. So not great choices either for Capricorn. I mean, you could maybe get a Malediction, but that doesn't really do much here. That's not. I mean, it clears their units, but it's not going to turn the tides of the way this game is going. You're pretty far away from
Yeah,
casting Diesel's Office.
yeah, and Pojo having 4 cards in hand does make it kind of tough to play around certain things. I do like grabbing the Malediction here, just kind of a good safety valve. LocoPojo has several things that go deploy early and kind of stick in the form, especially here. They go in their own Incarnus. Sadly, they are still going to get the card here.
Yeah.
Don't think you quite fire off the Malediction just yet. I think Capricorn can probably wait a turn or two, maybe probably a turn.
Yeah, potentially, but I don't know what else you're waiting Pojo to play here. Most of their deck. I think I would. Well, they just traded there. I think I would still fire it off to get rid of that Incarnus, but I guess you could wait a turn if you wanted. Fire it off here, pass it back to Pojo.
Yeah. Drawing a dragon off the top, then yeah, I think they're fine. Go ahead, do it there. Because next turn, if you draw power, you're going to play your dragon. And if not, then you'll just play the Incarnus.
All right. Pojo going to play the Waystone Fragment with Spellcraft here to get a pair of 2/2s. Did not draw power, but did draw a Teething Whelp. A little late in the game for that, but still a powerful card.
Well, I mean, one Jackknife or Persuader, and they're back in it. So
Yep. Pojo going to kind of reset their board here with a Talir's Favored. More units here. Now actually has a pretty wide board here. 2/2, 2/2, 3/2, and 1/3. Not overly powerful, but they also have the Carnosaur if anything gets out of hand. If they holding the Carnosaur for if Capricorn plays a dragon, they can just eat it. Get a nice solid 2-for-1 there.
yeah, pretty much. And here now it's starting to move into the position where Capricorn has to make the play. They have to do something. If not, they're going to lose this game. So it's just going to put Pojo in a really good position where they get to decide when to deploy that Carnosaur.
Yep. Pojo is very happy to trade off a random Trailmaker for the Teething Whelp here. Great trade for Pojo. Make that trade all day. Gonna follow up with a Verret here. Now you eat the Verret with the Carnosaur. Yeah, he's gonna fire it off here. Now that's a great play. Although now Capricorn can cremate the 8/8 if they would like to, and then follow up with their dragon.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine them not doing it here. Like that's just so much power coming across the board. Actually, that was one shy of lethal if they didn't do that. So
yeah, Capricorn going to go down 9 though with 8 power on board as is. Actually, they don't know about Scorpion Wasp, but it's actually lethal on board right now for Pojo.
Oh man, there's the small price of emblems, 1 damage. And all right. So probably see 2 threats deployed here.
2 blockers here to stay alive. Pojo with the aggro wasp here. Oh, and Carnosaur, that might just be it. Carnosaur taking out one of the blockers. Gonna get in for 7. Gonna put Capricorn to 1. But there's not much Capricorn can do at 1 against a board full of... I mean, it's gonna take a full card to get rid of the Carnosaur to begin with.
Yep. Let's see if they do the Emblem of Shafka going off on their own terms. Sure enough, they do. Capricorn taking some style points.
Going out in style. And this will take us to the critical Game 5 of the finals. This is it, folks. This is for all the marbles. This is for the title of Expedition Champion, the prize money of, I believe we're at $28, the title of Champion. Pretty great tournament we've had so far. Some really, really great matches. I feel like a lot of these matches have been super even too. Can go either way depending on how the draws play out. That was a pretty rough draw for Capricorn. Had to go to the emergency 6 mulligan there. And honestly, after that 6, that wasn't even a great 6 anyway. So that was probably Pojo's best opening draw so far. And Capricorn's least grid draw there. So unfortunate there for him, but now we're going to the final game. So this is winner take all here.
Yeah, and this is a great hand for Papa Capricorn. We have Fire Sigil, Stone Scar Insignia. We just drew a Seek Power, and then we have a Teething Whelp, a Smuggler, and then Jack's Knife, as well as Caleb's Persuader. So, yeah, if there's a curve out for Capricorn, I can't imagine it would be much different than this one.
Pojo does have the smuggler on 3, so now they have to. They don't have double shadow yet, so they would have to play out one of the acolytes to get the double shadow if they wanted to grab malediction from the smuggler. So there you go. They're going to go get the other shadow here, and then they'll have the smuggler to grab the malediction if they need it. So now, do you play the Jack's Knife right here?
I think you do. You have to kind of get in the damage. We've seen Capricorn win. Like, that's part of this deck strategy, is just pumping up this Teething Whelp and getting him for a ton of damage. It puts it out of malediction range. And now, as well as you have the Voprex choice in your hand. So should they find an answer to the Teething Whelp, you're still able to Voprex it back, making it a 5/5 flyer and resetting the mastery on it as well. Plus, Kayla's Persuader, like, yeah.
I mean, look at how cheap that is. With only at 3 power, they have a 7/7 flyer. And yes, the Carnosaur can answer it eventually, but even with ramp, Pojo's still 2 turns away from playing the Carnosaur, and Capricorn has a 7/7 flyer on 3 power invested.
It's a real shame here because there's probably some incentive to play the Caleb's Persuader to just get him for 12 damage and put him in a really bad spot, but they have to play around Wasp. So good heads up on Capricorn. I mean, you really don't want to lose. Yeah, you can get him for 12 damage, but at the same time, you don't want to lose or Voltron up 1 unit and just have it lost to a simple Wasp.
Yep, absolutely. Pojo's going to grab Swirl the Sands here, which will take care of the 7/7 flyer. But Capricorn does have the Caleb's Persuader to play on the other one.
Yep.
Although Capricorn's got to be a little careful with his life total, though. It's down to 11.
Yeah, this is really close. This is really close.
All right. Persuader, they're going to deal 2 damage. We know that Swirl the Sands is going to take care of one of them.
Well, it's at least 4 damage. So they go, wait, why was it only? Oh, no, because it was Jack's Knife, not the second Persuader. Okay. I think
that's going to put you 7.
Ooh, they might be able to take this. It's tough. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 8. They're gonna go down to 3. Do they have a way of pushing extra damage?
No, because it's an 8/8. The Carnosaur can't stop it, and I think they can only push through 8 damage. They're gonna be 1 unit short.
Oh,
and they have no way to deal with the 8/8.
One Teething Whelp, high five, and the other Teething Whelp as they pass the baton or Caleb's Persuader in this game. Oh man, there we have it. Wow, Teething Whelp, 2-drop All-Star.
Wow. Well, it's pretty good when you can go turn 3, 7/7 flyer, turn 4, 8/8 flyer.
Yeah, no kidding. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Capricorn taking it down 3-2 against LocoPojo in the finals of our Expedition Challenge.